This is IBM Museum. This is going to be a shorter video on some of the bigger things that are going on here. And I've got the two items I'm going to talk about behind me. One is new to the location. The other one I'm going to actually work on a little bit more. The first item I'm referring to is that big old color copy machine that I've got behind me. And surprisingly, I got it mainly as the ability to scan documents into the PDF format that can be put online. And for an instance of, I have like this binder of the guide to IBM personal computers. And of course, this is cardstock, but going through and making PDF scans of manuals like this with the pages. And I've had this done for me recently, but sent it off to someone that did a outstanding job. It was actually a bound book. But I looked to get the ability myself because this does have, I've got the glare of the light a little bit heavy here. Like, for instance, this is a section on the IBM PC Junior. And it goes through all the specifications of the unit, the configurations, and even lastly, accessories that you can get for it. Even on a last page, if I can quickly find it, the pricing detail. They tell the different models. They're here. The physical characteristics, the size, the weight. There's even an IBM joystick. I have one of those around too. I think brand new in box. But the single list of prices for that. So this machine is going to be very helpful for me to go through and scan documents. There's the IBM PC. And it goes through, this is all the PC series. And even some fairly rare models like the AT/370. And so this copy machine is going to be very, very helpful to me to scanning manuals like that. Now, the other side of things, let me get the image over to that. Is my photography area. And I've had this actually a number of months now, and was typically even commenting that I was having to photograph the macro photographs. In other words, very high resolution photographs of adapters. I would even go through and put my little scale of a ruler in place. This is metallic, so this will probably get quite a bit of reflection. But, so it could be seen in the image of what the scale was for those, and just be a real easy way to make a diagram of that board, even as big as a Model 60 or Model 80 planer, down to some of the smaller adapters, and not just necessarily microchannel, just anything, and I even took close-up pictures of certain areas, like a video section on some planers, just helping to identify the components and gain a little bit more detail out there. And I realized that years ago of taking those detailed photos, but I would make the comment that I'd have to take my photographs a lot of time in the daylight hours, just for the natural lighting coming in here. And that natural lighting works against me in some other areas where when the sun is setting, it goes through, and for this season, goes heavily across my recording area. So I got the ring light, and I mean, I jumped into a little bit to photography, knew the basics. The camera I have is a Olympus TG6. I think I've talked about it a little bit in the past. It does excellent macro photography. And I got the light ring, and with the thought that, we put a light ring around it, and that gives us the subject enough light. And typically those light rings are used in instances like this to actually light up the person doing the video, a person on camera, just to give better lighting. And I knew from experience, visited the IT Pro TV studios in Gainesville, Florida, just a few years back for their open house. And they moved into actually an old Verizon data center. And they split up in the studios. And it's amazing. I have pictures of the place. And I quickly noticed that they have the soft boxes and things like that for lighting up the area. Now, these light rings, what I learned with electronics is the shiny surface of the electronics, the PCB, typically has a reflective coating on it anyway they have enamel over the circuitry a lot of the time. And there was a reflection of the light ring in a lot of the photos that when I started experimenting. It was even the light ring being there, I could see evidence of it. And so that's why I went to just even a lot of time turning off the light ring and taking pictures by daytime. Now, this has been a little bit more in the YouTube aspect now, because Big Clive, excellent channel, and the EEVblog, another great channel. We're talking about teardown of electronics, and Big Clive has done that stuff for years now, and always has these close-in photographs of what he's describing, the teardown process of that splainer. And then EEVblog is going through to where he determined that he also needed to take photographs, those macro photographs of stuff close in as well, the electronics. And he came up with a lightbox. And, the interaction between them. I'll list all the relevant videos that they talk about this. But Big Clive was using a Tupperware adapter, and they're mainly taking these strip LED lights like I have in my up on my ceiling, and I use it for lighting in place of the fluorescence, and it does a wonderful job. A lot less power, equal lighting. I do that stuff in my equipment room too, on the bottom of my ladder racks, and it lights up the space an amazing way. But you don't want point source light. You want a diffuse light, and that's what EEVblog going through there and having lights facing out towards a box he's going through and taking the pictures on the inside. And Big Clive using a Tupperware dish for distributing that light, diffusing that light from multiple sources around the outside of it for that subject that's underneath. And I'm going to have to experiment with this because I do have to go through, and I have you can see I have the light ring on right now. And that's even turned down. That's not a very bright setting that's on there. I think that's the dimmest setting it can do. And just with that, still with that ring, it acts like a point source of light. It doesn't diffuse it enough with that foam that I have on the bed of things as well. And then I have my little bubble level up on top of the camera and make sure I get a straight on shot. But I go up relatively high on that boom for pictures of the very sizable model 60 and 80 planers, 65SX, those replay planers I looked at recently of the turbo planer and the power board planer, and I'm getting pictures to Tom, and where he can get those up and get the the diagrams going for those and a little bit more detail from the manual. I'll go through and scan the manual on my copy machine and get that to him for documentation that people can pull up that PDF and read through it. But when I go close in on some of the adapters, that camera comes very close to the subject. And so I'll have to come up with some sort of light box a little bit different. I have a little bit more varied of subjects, as you could say it, with electronic boards, the different sizes, than what EEVblog and Big Clive may have. Big Clive goes through and wants to show a relatively small section of detail to those very small circuit boards. And so I'll just have to come up with some way that I can do a light box here as a way of taking photographs of all the different things that I have. So that's a lot of the side job. It's not just a matter of making videos I do. There's a lot of more complexity in this documentation and other things I do that I put the focus of my time on. Those are very important details. And I also want to put out a little bit of a notice too, that there are, if anybody's willing to help out, there are stuff that's needed. You don't have to have a big copy machine. You don't have to have a photo rig, but I'm talking about going through and making diagrams from those boards. Those nice line diagrams like Louis Oland has done for years. And you can even brand it. You can put your little initials down in there. I did the same thing in helping out UXW Bill on YouTube we went over the Kingston boards, and I branded and put my initials in there on the diagrams that I did. We recognize that as work you've done and the contribution to the community of documenting stuff. But there is job positions that are available to help out with this stuff. I even had a friend contact me tonight on participation in a Discord channel. The going through the Save the Machine and having that people participate in a community to go through and document this stuff and so it can be available to more people. That's where the discoveries on this stuff is made, is in that detail, when we get multiple eyes on stuff and looking over things and just wondering, hey, can we go through and check this out a little bit further? But I wanted a little bit more shorter video. I know that there's been some really long ones, and there's some stuff that gets away from me. That whether even the hard drive suddenly works, and it's like, okay, let's go in there and just discover what's on there. So this will be an early video, early evening for me, completing this video and getting it wrapped up and uploaded to show some of the details I do. It's a little bit different. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do for moving forward with tomorrow's video. I've been trying to kick out at least one video per day. It's a hectic schedule. It does take time, my time away from some of this other stuff. But, I think that's a critical piece. There's just so much content that I want to get out there, get people involved, getting people looking at and growing that subscriber base and building this thing up a little bit quicker than what it sometimes takes for the YouTube channel to get that viewership and to get everything going. But there's lots of things happening, and so this is just a kind of an update to my channel, to some of the things I'm going to be using here as well. And of course, this is not the location for this, where this copy machine is going to end up. It's going to get moved off to the side. So I have it in its own little spot out of the way and get my filming area, my recording area going back there again. But, just showing what I'm getting in place to help me with the goals I want to focus on. So if you enjoyed this video, click on that like button and please subscribe to my channel. I want to build up the viewers a lot more, the subscribers to the videos, to a nice high level. And, so recommend that people to subscribe to my channel out there if you know like-minded people and people that enjoy seeing this content as well. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.